Welcome, Fantasy members. Glad to have you back. We're going to just get right into it. We have fantasy regrets today. We have some challenges that people are speaking up about. And we have some players opting out. So, let's get to it. Thanks for enjoying the mustache. And here, welcome to Austin, Texas. So, let's get to it. Let's talk about some biggest fantasy regrets. First off, $17. Let's talk about $17 and what that can buy you. $17 can buy you four for fours, which we'll talk about later. But that's $16, not even $17, spent on Stephen Gostkowski, which was replaced and released later on in the season. Lawson was thinking he made this amazing IQ move, and it just did not turn out to what he wanted it to. Regrets. Speaking of regrets, this guy said he had no regrets. BJ Ross, you're out there, right? Justin Fear made a trade with you for AJ Green, and Justin got back Robert Woods and Aaron Jones. And this is right when Aaron Jones was taking off. Turns out AJ was hurt for the rest of the season, and this took Justin to the next Fantasy Championship. So, sorry to tell you, BJ, but you do probably have some regrets back there. Speaking of regrets, this is one of the most shocking of them all on the list. Colin dug up. It's like the 2011-2012 draft. Hey, Dad, MJD, Ray Rice is on the line. Who you want? Peyton Manning. Dad, he's going to be, you know what? First round, like third pick overall. Peyton Manning's going. Farewell to the sheriff. This was not even the year that he went off. So unfortunately, my dad had Peyton Manning that season. And got ridiculed for it, to say the least. This one is my biggest fantasy regret. We had Alvin Kamara coming into his rookie season or second season. They had Mark Ingram, and then they had Adrian Peterson there. I had Adrian Peterson, and I had Kamara. They were hyping up Adrian Peterson being this great back for the Saints. They kept talking about how they're going to give him more carries. Adrian Peterson speaks up about how he wants more carries. The Saints said, we're going to give it to him, so I dropped Kamara. And when I dropped Kamara, boy, oh boy, he went off to become the Kamara that we know today, and I hated myself for it. Speaking of hating yourself, David Pemberton selected Monty Ball. Now, this man's going through some troubles right now, and I wish him the best. He's going through some depression and alcoholism, but it sounds like he's on the mend. But Monty Ball was one of the best college backs in football history. And coming into the offense of the Denver Broncos after the Peyton Manning season where he went nanners, unbelievable that he did not pan out the way they wanted to. And now they finally have a backfield with Philip Lindsay and Melvin Gordon, two very solid running backs. Some other ones to mention, we had Scott always losing to my dad. He always hyped himself up as he was better, and my dad would always just prove him wrong, which would piss off Scott immensely. And then we had Lamar Miller and Arian Foster. Jeff Carr selected these players pretty much when their career was dead. And it always sucks doing that. We always have those priest homes out there. Am I right, Justin? So, we have all the fantasy regrets, but what are we really here for? We're here for the challenges. That's what we're all here for. We're here for eating them dogs like Lawson did last year. Now, that was just genuinely and remarkably impressive from Lawson. But how do we go from that to this year? So Justin and I were talking. The first one that I thought of was the Wendy's 4 for 4 challenge. So you would have 4 for 4 fours, meaning 1,100 calories each. You're at 4,400 calories, which is a lot. I've had 2 in one sitting, but I don't know if I could ever do 4. I would be interested to see if that's actually physically possible. Knowing Lawson's stomach, it is. But I want physically demanding as well. Justin did the $5 box KFC challenge last year, and that ended up remarkable at the mighty Harbin Park. And Harbin Park is where we're holding the draft this year, up the Outlook, so I look forward to seeing you guys there if you're able to make it. But a challenge I would like to make with somebody is, or somebody can else take up on it, is a 50-hill Harbin Park challenge. So the Harbin Park 50-hiller. Basically, you have to just go up and down the hill 50 times, based off of whatever we bet on, saying this player is better than this, whatever it may be. I just think that would be physically demanding to the point where somebody would just want to pass out or their calves would just give out on them. Then we have the Pop Rocks Mentos Challenge. So you have a whole thing of Pop Rocks, you have a decent amount of Mentos, then you have to drink a liter of Coke. And just see how it plays out. Just let it go. I think that would be quite awesome to see, but I don't know if anybody would take up on it. Now, I want awkward bets as well. Not to the point where it is humiliating, but it's the point where it's just awkward for somebody. To be just going into a grocery store, buying the biggest cucumber you can find, a bottle of lube, and then some condoms. And then you go to the largest line in the grocery store at that time, and then you buy it. You don't have to record it, you just have to make sure that you post the receipt on Facebook to show that you did it. I think that would be quite awesome to see if somebody would do that. Now, I thought of another challenge that would take a little bit more time, but this one would definitely, I think, would take the cake in regards to challenges. Basically, whoever would lose the challenge, let's say I beat Justin in the challenge, all of us would create resumes for Justin and send them out to companies until he gets an interview, and then Justin has to go to that interview and interview for that position for whatever it is. I think this would be amazing. It would be time-consuming and something that just nobody would want to go to. Then the last one is something for our Turd Bowl winner going into the next year. It's called the Butler. Essentially, that person would have to be the butler for the draft, where they get any drinks, they get any food, they do everything pretty much for the people because of the fact that they lost. I think that is reasonable given the fact that they did lose. Make sure that they don't do that in the years coming. So, those are some challenges that we have. The last thing I want to talk about, though, is opting out. We had Damian Williams opt out, Solder, Funchess, a bunch of guys are opting out right now. But what guys would be the most shocking and most impactful for that player to opt out of their team? My two are Dak Prescott, because Andy Dalton would clearly take over and win the Super Bowl, and then all the Bengals fans would be pissed off. And then my second one is Michael Thomas. The reason I say Michael Thomas is I don't think the Saints could operate the way that they do now without Michael Thomas. So, Justin is at the 1-5 pick and at the 1-9 pick. I think Justin is going to select one of those top-tier wide receivers. He's talked about it before. That's why he traded it up with Lawson. But if he opts out, that Saints team is going to go into a serious struggle. So, that's all we have for today. I appreciate y'all joining me. I hope to see you guys around at Harvard Park. If you can't make it, let me know. We need to talk more about rules.